In a small hotel in London, I was sitting down to dine when the waiter brought the register and asked me if I'd sign. And as I signed, I saw a name that set me heart astir. A certain Francis Farrelly had signed the register. Now, I knew lots of Farrellys, and out of all the crew, I started sort of wondering which Farrelly were you. And after having dinner, I sat back in my chair and roamed the 4 provinces of my native land to find which Farrelly you were. Were you the keen-eyed Kerry man I met below Kenmare that told me that when Ireland fought, the odds were never fair? If Cromwell had met Sarsfield or Owen Roe O'Neill, 'tis not to Mr. Gladstone we'd be looking for repeal. We'd have Ireland for the Irish, not a Saxon to be seen, and only Gaelic spoken in that house in College Green. Told me landlords were the devil, and their agents even worse, and every sort of government for Ireland was a curse. Now, if you're that Francis Farrelly, your dreams have not come true. Still, sláinte, Francine, for I like a man like you. Or were you the Francis Farrelly that often used to say he'd like to knock them papists from Derry's walls away? The lad who used to bother me the Orange Lodge to join and thought that history started with the Battle of the Boyne. Now, I'm not there with you, Francis, and the Pope is not me friend, but still, I hope, poor man, he doesn't meet a bitter end. And so when you've done for care yourself and get to kingdom come, 'tis no use teaching you the harp, you'll play the orange drum. Oh, but man, you were a fighter. Now, of that I have no doubt, for I saw ye in Belfast one night when the Antrim Road was out. And sure, many a time that evening, I thought that you were dead, the way them papist paving stones were hopping off your head. Now, if you're that Francis Farrelly that came from North Tyrone, here's looking to you, Francis, but leave the Pope alone. Or were you the Francis Farrelly that in me college days for roaming on the Kingstown Pier was such a glorious craze? Do you remember them 2 lovely sisters, the blonde and the brunette? Ah, well, I know I've not forgotten, and I don't think you forget. The picnics at the Dargle and the others at the Scalp. My heart was palpitating, hers wasn't, not a palp. Now, they said you married money, and sure maybe you were wise, but the gold you loved was in her hair and the diamonds in her eyes. So I like to think you married her and that you're with her yet. It was some militia officer that married the brunette, but the blonde one always loved you, and I know you loved her too. So me blessings on you, Francis, and blue skies over you. Or were you the Francis Farrelly I met so long ago in the bog below Belmullet in the county of Mayo? That long-legged, freckled Francis with the deep-set, wistful eyes that seemed to take their colour from the ever-changing skies, that put his flute together as I sketched a distant scene and played me Planxty Kelly and the Wakes of Inniskeen, that told me in the autumn he'd be bailing to the west to try and make his fortune and send money to the rest. And would I draw a picture of the place where he was born? And he'd hang it up and look at it and not feel so forlorn. Now, if you're that Francis Farrelly, your fortune may be small. But I'm thinking, Francis, that I loved you best of all. And I never will forget you, though it's years and years ago, in the bog below Belmullet, in the county of Mayo.